Welcome to day 18 of snowy DEPHEMEREMBER here from Vienna, Austria. So I thought I'd share some of our snow with those of you that are in another hemisphere that might have summer. Maybe you appreciate seeing some snow. So day 18, this is the bag. And today's animal are fish, in our case even flying fish. And our snack for today is from Poland. It's called sesame snaps. It says all natural. This might be more up my alley. I know these kind of snacks from Asian countries. I did not know Poland had some like this as well. So let's try one. There's 3 of these in a package. Horrible for the teeth. It's sticking all over my teeth. It definitely tastes like sesame. It's a little bit sweet, which is fine. Can't read the ingredients. I think this is again another 7 out of 10. I think I would have given it an 8 out of 10 if it wouldn't stick that much to my teeth. But taste wise, it's good. I like it. And I like it's crunchy. Not bad at all, Poland. Okay, let's go back inside. I'm getting quite cold. And let's do some crafting. So I'm back inside and I feel every day of DEPHEMEREMBER I have less space to work on because of all the things that I have on my desk, and I just kind of keep pushing them out of my screen. Do you know this feeling? My desk was all cleaned up before I started DEPHEMEREMBER. So today we get to make some handmade stencils and a notepad. So this should be fun. So my previous experience with making my own stencils is that I've made them with laminated sheets. So I would print a design from Google. So I would find a design that I liked. You can just Google for stencil patterns, for example. I printed that out, put it in between a laminating sheet and then laminated it and then cut it out with my crafting knife. This way they are super sturdy. I made this one, I'd say 5 or 6 years ago. So very sturdy, definitely something that works well if you have a laminator. I don't have one at the moment, so that's not going to be an option for me. But I do believe you can make it out of other plastic materials. For example, these are some things I found at home that I think I could use to make stencils out of. And I'm sure you have something at home that you could use. You can even use acetate packaging, you know, the thicker kind. Oh, here. For example, if you have something like this flat, that should be perfect to make a stencil as well. So I think it's a lot more fun to draw your own design. That way you have such a unique stencil. I just have a scrap of a copy paper here. And since we have a flying fish here, why don't we make something that resembles waves? So we have I need to do this bolder because I think you cannot see. So we have these waves, and then let's make some patterns in the waves. So one could just have like these irregular bubble things. I don't want to make this too delicate because that will take forever to cut out. Oh, that's going to take a while. What am I doing to myself? And then here on the top, I'd love to do like swirlies, but I can't see myself cutting those out. So maybe we could do more like, I don't know, triangular shapes. That's not a triangle, Barbara. I think what I'm doing here is super ambitious. I'm not sure this is a good idea. This might be way too ambitious. This is again not a triangle. This is going to take me hours. I'm not sure this is a good idea. Maybe I should start with something bigger and more simple. New sheet of scrap paper. Let's just do like big blobs, which could be like the bubbles in the ocean. How about that? Because otherwise I'm never going to get this prompt done. Why am I making squares now when I want to do bubbles? Okay, let's start over. This is not great so far. Trying to vary them in size. I would love to have more small ones, but I cannot see myself cutting so many small circles. I think that's ambitious enough for my first stencil. So let's cut this out. Then I'm going to cut this back part off. Also, if you have like these plastic dividers for binders, I think those would be great for making stencils. And now, of course, this is very hard to see through. I mean, I can see them a little bit, but we could also put it on top. Why not? And then cut through both layers. So this is live trial and error. I have not experimented with this, so we're learning together. I have my craft mat, I have my craft knife. Oh my goodness, I cannot even do the first one. Okay, this is not going to work. Nope, that's not it. Okay, so let's try it this way again. Let's put this on the reverse. Better to take something you can see through better, obviously. Then I'll take a Sharpie and it's hard to trace it because it's really hard to see, but I can just draw the whole design again without seeing what I've done before. I can just draw it directly on this. Let's see if this works any better. Maybe this is also the wrong blade. See, I just bought this craft knife from Action and it has all these blades that come with it, but I don't know what is the best one for what I'm doing. So I just chose this one here. The problem is I cannot twist it. No, this is really not a good blade to do this with. Yeah, so I'm going to try this curved one instead. Hopefully that will work better. Let's try this again. Oh my goodness. It's impossible for me to do any curves. This is not easy. Oh, we have a hole. Almost. I have my first hole. Wow, I think this takes practice. Problem is it slips. I don't know if it's this particular craft knife that is making this so difficult. Okay, I'm going to try a different knife. I'm going to try my heavy-duty box cutter. That might work better. But I do feel like I have a little bit more control with this. But I do find it very hard to cut around in circles. Why didn't I just choose a design that had straight lines? Please be careful if you work with these kind of knives. Don't cut yourself. Okay, I'm going to continue the struggle off camera. You don't need to watch me do that. And I'll see you once that's done. This is as far as I'm going to go. They're not even round. Can you see that? So if you're trying this for the first time, don't start off with round images. Don't do what I do. I'm wondering if a punch would work. So let me try that. Yeah, so the punch will work. That's a lot easier. So we could just make a fun design with the punch. And if you have one of these crocodiles with two different sizes, or you have two different sizes of hole punches, then you can just vary the size. So let's just make a small stencil. This is so much better. Of course, with this, we are limited to how far in we can go because of the limitation of the tool. But still, this is so much better. Probably also depends on your material, how well it works to cut it. That was quick and fun. I love this. And then we could, of course, try other punches. For example, I have this one here. Again, we have the limitation that we can't really go in far, but we could still use it. Oh no, we cannot. Nope, this won't go through. How interesting. See that? That's not going to work. So the next logical thing to try would be die cuts. So I'm going to cut off this part here of my folder. The first one I want to try is this one. I think this is again from Action. Never used it, but it looks like that might be a fun pattern. So let's put that on there, make our sandwich and run it through. Hopefully this will have cut through. I have no idea. Oh no. Look, they're all still there. Okay, this is frustrating. Isn't it interesting that the dies will cut through a tin can, but not through this thin plastic? But maybe it's the die. I'm not giving up yet. Let me try another die. For example, this one here. I will not be defeated so easily. Okay. This one worked better. So this kind of worked. It's not great. Not giving up with the die cuts yet. So I'm going to cut off a part of this folder and try another die cut. See if we have any more luck with that. I'm going to try some of these flowers. Okay, I feel I didn't show that properly. So this is die cut 661806. Let's see if this works. Same thing. I doubt that I can get these come out better. So that worked a little bit better. Not brilliant. Not great at all. I ruined this one completely. And the problem is also that these middle pieces are coming up, so I don't think that they will work well as a stencil. And especially if we use one of these makeup brushes, they're going to bend all over the place. No, that's not how to do it. Right now, I'd actually love to go over to Louise's channel and see how she did this. That would probably be very helpful. I'm a bit lost. So I guess the way to go is to draw something on your plastic sheet or to put a design underneath that you can then trace and use straight lines. So let's just make rectangles. And I'm going to stick to my mats pattern because that seems kind of easiest. So I'm going to try to cut this out and see if that works any better. Success! Let's keep going. Okay, straight lines are not such a problem. So that took me less than 5 minutes. That was easy to do. So at least that one worked. And I also remembered I have this fun hole punch. This is like an ID hole punch. You can find that if you search online for ID hole punch. So this is what that would look like, which is also kind of fun. But again, we are very limited because of the very small reach of the tool. But we can make a fun line like this. I want to make a nicer one. I wasn't really paying attention that it's straight. Maybe we can use our brush to go through that and get a fun design as well. So now we know how not to make a stencil. But I have 4 here that have potential. So I'm eager to try them out. So I'll just use some scrap paper to test them. And I'll use one of my makeup brushes and walnut stain. So let's start with the line one first. So I moved it a bit and I went a little bit outside of my plastic, so it would make sense to cut a bigger piece around it to make your life easier, but it kind of works. Next, let's try my rectangles. They are, of course, a lot flimsier than the ones you buy, so you do need to treat them a lot more delicately, actually. So that one's fun. Yeah, that totally worked. And let's try this one. This one is much easier to work with, but it's also harder to cut. So here are my circles that are not circles, but they're actually kind of fun. So that one's okay as well. And lastly, we have our punched dots, which I'm assuming will work really well. If I wouldn't have moved it, this one would have been really nice. Again, this is one I would have to be careful not to go outside of the plastic. So again, leave a bigger border around your stencil. So we still need to make a notepad. And when I think of a notepad, the image that comes to my mind first is one of these vintage clipboards that have like a nice vintage clip on the top, you know, something like this, and some paper there. And I have seen somewhere on YouTube a die in the shape of this or a variation of this. I don't know which company made that die and I cannot find it when I search for it. So if anyone knows of any dies that have this shape, please let me know. I would really love to have one of those. In lack of such a die, we need to make our own. So I have this beautiful clamp and I have some craft paper. So what I want to do is to trace this so that I have the shape. I'm also going to trace the hole as well as these things that come out on the side. So now I have this shape. I'm going to cut this out because I want a double layer of this because I want this to be nice and sturdy. So I'm going to glue one on top of the other. I'm going to use glue stick. And then I'm going to go ahead and cut this out. Now I have this. I just need to punch out my hole in the middle. And here's my clamp. And now you're thinking, well, that's great that you can do that, but I don't have a clamp like this that I could use to trace it. And my solution to that is, of course, another freebie. So I took a photo of this. And you see here, I have 3 different sizes. This middle one is approximately the size that I have. And what I've done is I've put it once like this, and then I flipped the image because I'm thinking maybe you want to use one on the front and one on the back. And then it would have to be flipped because, of course, it's not 100% symmetric because it's hand cut. And then I thought I would also add some fun rivets here, which are photos of actual rivets that I have here in my stash, like these, because I think I'm going to use those later. So you have all of that on this sheet. You have 2 different sizes, 2 different colors. So I hope you have fun with this sheet. You can find that linked below. So then I can ink up the edges. Then I'm going to take my small makeup brush and also go around the hole here. If you don't have one of these, you can also use a Q-tip, which might even work more precisely. Actually, I just remembered I have these fun wide eyelets here. I think if you look for large eyelets, you can find these online. I have 3 different colors. I think they all came in the same pack. So those are really cute. I'll go with this dark one. That's cute. And then I want to add the word notes here by embossing it in gold. So I have my favorite alphabet stamps here. You can find these linked below in the description box as well.
Oh no.
No, I smeared it. You see, the N is gone. Oh no, that's never good. Because then that's never going to work again. You see, it's still there. No, it's never going to work that I'm going to be able to put it in the exact same spot. So I think in this case, I will have to stamp this on another piece and then glue that on there. So using the same kind of cardstock. Okay, this one is perfect. So here's the embossed sign. Cut it out, inked it up with walnut stain, and now I can glue this here. So I just wanted to show you the pad I used for my craft paper. So it's called Paper Poetry And it has 10 sheets with 110 GSM and 20 sheets with 270 GSM. This is the one that I've been using for this clamp, so I doubled it. Yeah. I bought this locally for my German speakers. This is from Thalia, which is a bookstore, and they also have quite a bit of craft supplies. So now I want to make my clipboard out of this same material. So let's check the size. Obviously it needs to be a little wider than my clamp. I can make it like this, and then it's up to us. Obviously it needs to fit on our journaling page, maybe even into a pocket or something. So I don't want it to be so huge. So maybe till about here. So I've cut out 2 of those and I'm going to glue them together. Maybe you have a thicker cardboard from the start, then obviously you don't need to glue anything together. You just use that. Then I want to round my corners. I should have done that before I put them together. So since my corner rounder cannot handle 2 of these craft sheets, I'm going to do it the good old-fashioned manual way by just taking a round object and drawing that and then cutting that out with scissors. Then I'm going to ink up the edges with walnut stain, front and back. And just for decorational purposes, I want to add these brads to my corners. And if you don't have any, this is where these rivet brads come into play. So you can just cut those out, and your advantage, of course, is that they are flat. You can choose the large or the small size. So I'm going to make holes and then add my brads. And if your brad ends are too long, like mine are, you can just cut them off. And now we can add our clip. So we need to decide how high we want to have this. I think I want it like this. So I'm going to add glue just here and to the top here, because I want this to be a tuck spot so we can tuck our papers inside. So just a little here and on top here. And I'll clamp that together for a while. In the meantime, I can fussy cut our flying fish. So it's believed that these fish have wings so that they can more easily escape predators underwater. But the issue is when they fly above the water, then they are of course more likely to be prey for flying predators. So kind of a lose-lose situation there. So I have my flying fish. I've inked him up as well. And I've also torn 3 pieces of coffee dyed paper with my tearing ruler, inked up the edges, front and back. And I tore them not quite the same size, but obviously so that they would fit in our little clip here. So the fish is going to go on the front. It's quite a tight fit, I must say. I don't really want to put them vertical like this. No, maybe we take a bigger one. Yeah, this one is a bit bigger. So I want to add some stenciling underneath. And now that we have these samples, we can see which one would work the best. So I don't think I'm going to use these. So it's either these big circles or it's the small ones. Yeah, I'll go for the small ones. And I'll use peacock feathers for this because I want it to look like water bubbles. And I will do my best not to go over the edges, so I'll stay in the middle. Shoot, I did go outside here a little bit, but they're so cute. So I'm going to continue to add some more. Oh, that's really adorable. I love that. Let's add some more. To make it a bit more interesting, we could add some more scraps in the back. So these are from Louise's stash that was in my journal. This one might be a bit big, although it looks super cool. We go with a smaller piece. And then this beautiful blue fabric. Maybe even some gold thread. So like this is what it looks like once everything is glued down. So that's going to be our cover. And then for the other two, I'm just going to make some samples of my handmade stencils. And I'm going to stick to the peacock feathers. That's pretty cute. And then let's do the rectangles. I'm tempted to spritz this just to see what would happen. Might turn out to be a disaster, but I won't know if I don't try, right? Ha! The color is not moving as much as I thought it would. Interesting. So not much happening there. That's a surprise. Okay, I'm going to dry this. So after drying it, we see that some of the green has come out of the peacock feathers due to the oxidation process. Yeah. But what I could do is add some more of these fun little dots. And I'll try my peeled paint just because. Well, that's kind of fun. I'm sure I can use this as collage fodder. So let's add our papers to our notepad. So they slide right in and we can easily pull them out when we want to. Let's add our little notepad to our journal. And I found the perfect page already. All the way in the back, I think. Yeah, it's this one. Because of course it has bubbles. This is a relatively new Tim Holtz bubble stamp. And how perfect to have our fish there. So again, we could adhere this as a pocket. Why not? I would make this into a side-loading pocket just because I think this handle would be in the way. So let's glue that down on the 3 sides. And I need gold splatters. So that's my finished project for today. I'm super happy with this notepad, by the way. And I have some stencils to add to my collection. So 18 handmade stencil and notepad, check. Have fun with this. Let's go check out how Louisa made her handmade stamps. I am very, very curious. See you back here tomorrow. Love you guys. Mwah, mwah.